Hello friends, welcome to Kakatiya IAS Academy. Today we will discuss some of the questions based upon Hindu newspaper. The first question, consider the following statements. All citizens are given the right to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade or business. Right? So this is the first statement. Coming to second statement, state is empowered to prescribe professional or technical qualifications necessary for practicing any profession or carrying on any occupation, trade or business. Which of the above are true? Right? So answer is both 1 and 2 are correct. So it is both 1 and 2 which is correct. So all citizens are given the right to practice any profession or to carry on any trade, occupation or business. State is empowered to prescribe professional or technical qualifications necessary for practicing any profession or carrying on any occupation, trade or business. This is clearly mentioned in Article 19 of the Constitution. So Article 19 provides this freedom, right? So that is what the question. So the reason for asking this question, right? So this question is based upon the article published in the Hindu paper, where the heading says that regulating academics is in national public interest. Supreme Court. So Supreme Court held that regulating academics and imposing reasonable restrictions to ensure education standards are in national and public interest. Right? So this is what the opinion given by Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, right? This is what the Supreme Court judgment. Right? Supreme Court went on to say that the right to freedom of trade or business is not absolute. It is subjected to reasonable restrictions in the interest of the students' community to promote merit, recognition of excellence, and to curb malpractices. Supreme Court also held that professional education institutions constitute a class by themselves. Specific measure to make the administration of such institutions transparent can be imposed. So the rights available under Article 30 are not violative of provisions carved out in Section 10D of Medical Councils of India Act and Dental Councils of India Act. So MCI Act as well as Dentist Acts. Right? So this is what the Supreme Court judgment. So here there is a mention about right to freedom of trade or business. There is a mention about Article 30, right? As well as there is a mention about the power of the state to impose reasonable restrictions on the freedoms as well as rights. So based upon this question, right? Based upon this article, right? These questions are framed, right? So answer is both 1 and 2. Similarly is question number 3. Consider the following statements. All minorities have the right to establish and administer education institutions of their choice. State can impose reasonable restrictions on the rights mentioned in Article 30. Yes, so it is clearly mentioned in Article 30 that all the minorities shall have the right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice, and state can impose reasonable restrictions on the right mentioned in Article 30. So both 1 and 2 are correct. So both these questions are based on this article published in Hindu paper. So coming to second question. So let me read the question. Consider the following statements. The president shall from time to time summon each house of parliament to meet at a such time and place as he thinks fit. Right? The president enjoys absolute power to dissolve the house of people. The president can prorogue the parliament only after sine die adjournment. Right? So president from time to time summon each house of parliament to meet at such time and place as he thinks fit, right? So president will determine the time of summoning as well as the place of meeting. The president enjoys absolute power to dissolve the House of People. Right? The president can prorogue the parliament only after sine die adjournment. So this question is based upon Article 85 of the Constitution. It is based upon the Article 85 of the Constitution. Right? So according to Article 85 of the Constitution, president shall from time to time summon each house of parliament to meet at such time and place as he thinks fit. So first statement is correct. President enjoys absolute power to dissolve the House of People. Right? So president can dissolve the house but only on the recommendation of prime minister, or president can dissolve the house when there is a no confidence motion passed. Right? Or president can dissolve the house after the expiry of 5-year tenure of parliament. So though president has the power, but this power of president is not absolute. Right? So second one is wrong. President can prorogue parliament only after sine die adjournment. So without sine die adjournment, proroguing of parliament cannot take place. Right? So 1 and 3 are correct. Right, so this question is based upon the article published in Hindu paper, where the heading says that Venkaya hopes to hold monsoon sessions, but it depends on the ground reality. The vice president, who is also the ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha, on Wednesday said that the next session of parliament would be convened depending upon the ground reality. So it is in the context of monsoon sessions. So the monsoon sessions are due for July. So under Article 85 of the Constitution, it is the President of India who enjoys the power to convene the session of Parliament at a time when he thinks fit and a place when he thinks fit. Right? So this is what Article 85 clearly states. Coming to fourth question. Consider the following statements about Upanishads. Right? So consider the following statements about Upanishads. The Upanishads are religious and philosophical treatises. They constitute the last phase of Vedic revelations. They represent the knowledge of Brahma Vidya, that is knowledge of the universe, cosmic universe. Which of the above are true? So the Upanishads are the religious and philosophical treatises. They constitute Vedic revelations. So Upanishads are also called as Vedangas, right? A part of the part of Vedas, last part of Vedas. Right? They represent the knowledge of Brahma. So answer is all the above. All the above are true. Right? Similarly, there is another question on the Upanishads. Which of the following is not a part of Atharva Veda? Mundaka Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, Prashna Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad. Right? So answer is 1, 2, 3 only. Chandogya Upanishad is a part of Sama Veda, but not Atharva Veda. Right? So it is a part of, fourth one is a part of Sama Veda. Right? Answer is 1, 2 and 3. Right? So this question is based upon article published in Hindu paper, which describes about Sandilya Vidya, where there is a mention about Upanishads as well as different types of teaching aspects, different forms of teaching. The Upanishads are storehouses of the wisdom pertaining to the eternal and infinite Brahman. This wisdom is revealed in many ways, in the form of exchanges between the disciple and preceptor, in the form of stories, parables, analogies, etc. Right? So for instance, there is a mention about Chandogya Upanishad contains several vidyas such as Bhuma Vidya, Prajapati Vidya, Vaishanvara Vidya, Sandilya Vidya. So Sandilya Vidya is named after the great sage Sandilya, who had the revelation of Supreme Being. In this Vidya, he teaches how to focus the thought on the all-comprehensive Brahman. In one sense, it teaches the essence of entire Upanishad wisdom. Right? So this is what they mention about Sandilya Vidya in the Hindu paper. Right? So you can get more information on vedicheritage.gov.in. Right? So I have mentioned this website here. Right? You can also get this. So coming to sixth question. Sixth question is on UN Security Council. UN Security Council recommends the General Assembly to accept new members to the United Nations. The UNSC has 10 non-permanent members. The UNSC has 10 non-permanent members elected on a regional basis to serve for a term of 2 years. All the bodies of the UN have the authority to issue binding resolution to the member states. Which of the above is true? So UNSC recommends General Assembly to accept new members to the UN. UNSC has 10 non-permanent members elected on a regional basis to serve for a term of 2 years. All the bodies of UN have authority to issue binding resolutions to the member states. Which of them is true? So only 1 and 2 is correct. So not all the bodies except UNSC, except UN Security Council, no other organ of UN has a authority to issue binding resolutions. Only UNSC has an authority to issue binding resolutions. So third one is wrong. Only 1 and 2 are correct. Right? So this question is based upon the issue in Hindu paper where there was an interview of the outgoing India's permanent representative to UN, that is Syed Akbaruddin. Right? Where in this interview he clearly brought out a case for permanent seat for India. India, by any calculus, India qualifies for UNSC permanent seat. This is what the article published in Hindu paper. So you can get this information from the Wikipedia, right? Wikipedia UNSC, right? Coming to seventh question, which of the following countries does Mekong flows? Through which of the following does Mekong flows? Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. Right? The question is on river Mekong. Right? So it flows through all these countries: Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam. All of them are correct. Coming to eighth question. Eighth question is again on the same issue. So Mekong River forms international border between Myanmar and Laos, Thailand and Vietnam, Laos and Thailand, China and Myanmar. So Mekong River forms international boundary between Myanmar and Laos, Thailand and Vietnam, Laos and Thailand, China and Myanmar. So the answer is 1 and 3. It is international border between Myanmar and Laos as well as Laos and Thailand. Right? So for Myanmar and Laos, it is a part of international border. So answer is 1 and 3. Coming to ninth question. Ninth question is on the river Brahmaputra. Right? Which of the following rivers join Brahmaputra from left? Dibang, which is also called as Sikang, Lohit, Dhansari, Manas. Which of these four rivers join Brahmaputra from the left? Or simply, which of the following are left bank tributaries of Brahmaputra? Dibang, Lohit, Dhansari, Manas. So it is 1, 2 and 3. So Manas is a right bank tributary and the remaining 3 are left bank tributaries. So seventh, eighth, and ninth questions, they are based upon the article published in the Hindu paper, right? So the study on China dams. The study on China dams brings the Brahmaputra into focus. Structures built on Mekong River altered its natural flow. Right? A new study highlights the impact of China's dams on the Mekong River, has raised fresh questions on whether dams being built on other rivers that originate in China, such as Brahmaputra, have a similar impact, right, on the countries downstream. So the new study states that China's dams built on a Mekong River has altered the natural flow of the river Mekong. So it is expected to have similar effect on other rivers such as Brahmaputra also. Right? So this is what about the issue that has appeared in Hindu paper. The issue highlights the alteration in the natural flow of the river Mekong, and it is also expected to be on the other rivers also, particularly, right, those countries which are in the downstream of these rivers, right? So this is what the issue. So here it is clearly mentioned that Mekong flows from China to Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam. The Mekong River Commission comprises Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, and Vietnam. Alright. So these are the points which we should remember for prelims. And as there is a mention about Brahmaputra, as there is a mention about the impact on Brahmaputra river also, so please do make notes on Brahmaputra river from NCERT. So you can gather information from NCERT. So here I have given the a direct link of NCERT book, NCERT page, where you can get the notes. Consider the following statements. All the credit rating agencies in India are regulated by SEBI. So 10th question. Consider the following statements. All the credit rating agencies in India are regulated by SEBI. The credit ratings that are given to the entities serve as a benchmark for financial market regulations. The entities that are rated by credit rating agencies comprise companies, state governments, non-profit organizations. Which of the above is true? So answer is all the above. So all credit rating agencies in India are regulated by SEBI. The credit ratings that are given to the entities serve as a benchmark for financial market regulations. The entities that are rated by credit rating agencies comprise companies, state governments, non-profit organizations. So all of them are true. Alright. So this question is based upon the article, right, in the Hindu paper, right, which the heading says that urge rating agencies to push back assessment of mutual fund institutions or microfinancial institutions. You can use this, right, MFIs. Situation not conducive for regular functioning of the lenders. The Microfinance Industry Association, SADHAN, has written to the Reserve Bank as well as SEBI requesting that rating agencies such as CRISIL, CARE Ratings be directed to push back their assessment of micro lenders by 3 months due to the impact of operations following the COVID-19 outbreak. So normally the rating of MFIs takes place once in every year. So because of the present pandemic, right, the association, the Micro Finance Industry Association, SADHAN, has requested RBI, Reserve Bank, as well as SEBI, right, directing the credit rating agencies to assess these micro lenders after 15-month period, right? So that is what the issue is. So based upon this issue, the question was framed, right? So with this, I complete the discussion. I hope you have enjoyed the class.